So I was going to speak to you about your like creative process, and I guess I also want to kind of know about how you go about writing characters as well as your music and stuff. But let's start with your music. Do you have like a particular approach to how you write things?
Usually, so it depends really. It depends. There are different states or emotional states that you write in. You might be practicing other, different songs, and then you might hear a chord sequence, and then you start going off with a melody.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but when I write music, I know when it's a really good song because it's like done really quickly.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, don't get me wrong, there's a song that I've been writing that's not finished, and it's been going for about 5 years or so, but it's because it's quite a unique sounding song, so it needs to make sure that the transition, and I think I finished it, but I haven't finished it,
right,
obviously.
Yeah.
But usually I find when you're really inspired, you write things really quickly, and it's and it sounds like a cliche, but you are totally in the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I guess that when you think about it, it's about being in a meditative moment.
Yeah.
And and that's why meditating, like playing a musical instrument is a form of meditation, where you lose yourself, but also you have the time and to create this space. And once you're losing yourself in the space, and then words just feed through, and sometimes it can feel quite like, did I write this?
Where did
these words come from?
Yeah,
Did I channel this shit, or is Bob Marley working through me right now, or Prince? But I think for me there are different stages, whether or not I'm feeling emotional, whether or not I've been really empathetic with something that's had a huge impact on me. Or someone else that maybe I'm close to, and then it feels like it feeds it through there. So it's almost therapeutic. It's definitely therapeutic. And then when you're just writing words, allowing your hand just to kind of start writing.
Okay. Yeah.
I like to have a pen and paper.
I do.
I know, right?
That's it.
And then that's it. And then I'll get the guitar and I'll have my acoustic, so it'll be sat on my lap, and then I'll start writing it. And then sometimes I like to record it, but sometimes if you record it and you play it, you never sometimes always go back to it. So it's like when I'm in the zone, I have to give myself the commitment. And if that commitment is 5 minutes or if it's 5 hours, it's that time where I keep on coming back to it, and I always feel the rhythm, and the rhythm kind of changes, and then I'll add a new little bit to it. But usually a really good song, although it's not in its full completion, will be completed within 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after that, but I think when you're working with different musicians, that process as well is really exciting. Of you're writing together, and maybe you've come up with a melody and a few chords, and then someone adds a few little flicks here and a few tweaks, and then suddenly you've got this there's an energy between the two people or 3 or 4 people. And then that's a wonderful process as well. So, they're just different. It's hard to kind of, someone says to you, write a song about this. Now you could obviously write and rhyme, and but what does it have meaning for you? And I think most songs that capture you have meaning behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I've realised a lot of my songs for a period of time were obviously unhappy. So obviously that probably was a state in my life. Maybe I wasn't happy in my life, probably, or I was figuring things out. And then a lot of the songs are very uplifting that I've been writing recently. But I love different chord sounds, and I play a D chord incredibly. You've never seen anyone play a D chord or an E chord, so
well.
Yeah, because I practice them so much, I make them look complicated. They're not complicated.
Right.
But you can get so many different sounds, and then when you're just playing around with the melody, and the other process is just fucking around.
Yeah. Mistakes are
Mistakes.
where
that
beautiful
works.
stuff happens.
Or you're learning maybe a well-known song, and then suddenly you do a few little changes on the chord sequence, and maybe you add a different bridge. And it's like, oh, actually, but then when you realise it, you go, gosh, this one song sounds like 1,000 different songs. But everything's about recycling, isn't it? And
God, yeah.
I think some of the best songs and I go, oh god, that sounds like that one, and why does that sound like that one? And then there's this one, and everyone's going, that's really good, but that sounds like that. I quite like playing that game of guess the song that's not the song,
Yeah.
The hidden
yeah.
song.
the hidden song within the song.
I love listening to classical music and like stuff like Wagner or whatever, and realizing which of my like famous film scores have just ripped these guys off. Like literally, almost directly, there'll be like 2 bars where it's like, oh shit, that's where the guy got Indiana Jones from, or whatever. And it's so obvious in that moment. It's like, and then with Lord of the Rings, it's like, oh, there is.
Yeah.
And clearly, that was the guy. Oh, and a lot of these film scores, the guy's like, I'll have that. And you're just like,
Haven't they used? Yeah, because it's all that scenic shots, isn't it? And you're like kind of going, oh no, that's been used about 5 different times in different movies, and Disney's used it.
Exactly. Yeah.
My favourite one is definitely the Jurassic Park one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Who wrote that?
The Jurassic Park guy.
Car park. Jurassic car park guy.
Who did write?
It wasn't Howard Shaw, was it? I don't know.
No, I don't think it was Howard
They can
Shaw.
find out on the interwebs there. Same guy as Star Wars.
I don't want to say the wrong thing and sound stupid.
John Williams. Same
John
guy
Williams,
that
there we
did
are.
Star
Who knew that
Of
Google
course.
was in the room?
I know, yeah.
You can ask it anything you
Yeah,
want,
it's
and
with
I'll have
this-
an answer for you.
But I love George Benson's a really good quote as well. It's like if you only want to play original stuff, if the only things you want to play are things that have never been played before, he's like, you might as well put that guitar down, because he's like, there is nothing left that
It's
hasn't
been
been.
done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been
But that's
done.
fine, because then he's like, the thing is, the cool thing is it's you doing it. So even if you're playing stuff that literally millions and millions of people have played, like a D chord or whatever, like you're doing it your way, aren't you? Like with every little mistake or little bad habit, if you want to call it a bad habit.
Little flair.
Yeah, exactly. All these little things that only you do as well. And a lot of them are probably just like being too lazy to work out the exact way someone else did it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're
Yeah, so
learning
your
a
personal
song. And it's like,
shortcut.
am I really going to learn this song like 100%? Or it's like that's fine.
That's close enough.
Yeah, and before you know it, when you do that with like thousands of songs, like I sound like me, whatever that. So,
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
That's something that I encourage, whilst doing the show, is like saying, you can all play the guitar. I mean, this is a 1-chord song. I'm going to show you, because I didn't know how to play the song, so I just made it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you want to do 2 chords, even better.
Yeah. Spruce up.
And that, like, I think I did "I Will Survive" on 2 random chords, but and then I made that into like a cabaret kind of story, kind of telling Noel Coward, if you like. But like usually, I mean, obviously, this is a bigger circle of trust. Is if you can't play it, just make it up.
Yeah,
It's true.
absolutely.
It's true. And like riding, I think the biggest thing is like if you ride the mistake, like you chose it, you often end up in a place that you never even would have thought of anyway, and that's more you than if you're like no. It's like what you were saying before about like music being like a meditative
Meditative.
process. Meditative. That's a good word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It definitely is. I feel like when I'm the most inspired, or when I see people that are doing something that's like, wow, it's like that's them being completely present and being with, like you're saying, like with the music and what have you, and that comes as well with, like you said, with the writing as well. It's like when you're present with the thing that you're doing, you can let life flow through you, and it'll take whatever form
Yeah.
that is in that moment, and it might not be what you thought it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're like, I really want to play a fat fucking blues solo right now, and then you go, and then play this horrible note, but then it's like, okay, I'm gonna go with that, and then it turns into
That's
something
the
else,
thing,
and you're
yeah.
like, it's
Elusive.
it's not denying what is,
Yeah.
you know.
I think David Bowie was quite good at his discords and stuff like that with Lady Grinning Soul, and it sounds odd, but it works.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's some of the best. I remember driving back from somewhere with James. He was like, "Oh bloody hell, the strings on this are out of tune just for some random song." But it was a really, really popular song, and you'd never notice.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah,
was a hot
that's the one.
chocolate
Yeah,
tune,
but it just
I think.
sounds like iconic. It's just like it wouldn't work as well any other way. Is that not funny? Again, it's just like something slightly wrong.
Yeah.
But it's only wrong in theory terms. It's not. It sounds cool, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is. I think potentially a lot of the music that I played has sound slightly a little off tune because of my tuning ability. But what it does make is it makes it different and unique, children.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Hear
your
that?
USP right there.
It's true, man.
I have a bumper sticker.
Yeah. Well, what I liked about your performance is like, and also like you kept like looking in the camera, which I liked. Like it looks good on the video, but also like you definitely have, you can tell you were just being you when you're performing and stuff, and then in between all the talking and everything, it was just like there was no I could tell there was no pretense there, if you know what I mean.
Do you know, it was really nice and relaxing and enjoyable, and many years ago that type of performance wasn't there because of anxiety and panic and the ego saying you've got to get it right. And then like when you come into a space and you're made to feel comfortable, you know, it really, really helps. But if you've got this overthinking head, and like you've only got, like, I thought at the end of the day, like, I mean, I'm sure if I was doing it at home, I might do it about 5 or 6 times. But in these circumstances, whenever I do play and I do perform, you've only really got the one chance to do it. So if you muck it up really well, and carry on. But I really enjoyed it, and you know, I think I'm definitely in a place now in my life where I'm enjoying it. I'm not seeking it to although I'm seeking it to get my full-time work out of it for obvious reasons. But it's more enjoyable rather than the pressure of trying to be the best or perfect. You know, problem is with creative people, they have the perfect thing in their mind, but because it's so perfect in here, that's what stops creative people, because they can never replicate. And actually, why you can't replicate what's in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you know, and you know, I'll look back on it and I'll go, "Oh, I could do different things there, or I could practice there," and I'll see it as an opportunity to develop, improve. Whereas an old me would have gone, "Oh, you're a bit out of tune there, look." It's just not good enough on that one, you know, and all that, you know, negative dialogue that we all have. This script that we've got. But again, being aware and going, actually, this can improve here, and actually, your performance was good on that. You know,
exactly.
And the more you see it, the less you're desensitized to feeling, because you're feeling, oh God, I don't want anyone to think that I'm really good in this and that I'm, you know, bigging myself up. But it's why wouldn't you be proud of what you did as well?
Yeah. It's you at the end of the day.
It's me. It's all me.
It's
I am what I am.
all you.
Yeah, that's it. And like, I find it really funny the way that you talk to yourself about performance, and like the way you criticize yourself. It's like everything good that you do is a given because you're used to being like that. So it's like your brain goes like, right, let me focus on the few negative things. But you forget, like, before you did that performance, there wasn't anything there. Like other people who listen to it, they're only gonna see what you've actually created. Like you're only adding, aren't you? Even if you're in your mind is like 4 big mistakes or whatever. That's still better, like you showing up and you giving that gift of music, than you'd been like, well, I can't share that.
I might make too many mistakes.
Like that, because they're noticing everything good that you take for granted. That's what other people get out of a performance. They're not like waiting for a little like string slip or something to be like, But that's what you do when you listen back, isn't it? You won't do that for anyone else but yourself. And it's strange. And that kind of follows with like the way that you talk to yourself, and from a self-critical standpoint, just in general life, isn't the way you talk. If someone else talked that way to one of your friends, you'd be like, hey man, leave the fuck alone. You know, but you can talk to yourself that way and you give yourself permission. It's really strange, isn't it?
You can be your worst bully.
Yeah.
And having that awareness, when you kind of are aware that you're doing that, then you can go, okay, that's interesting. What do I need to do to counterbalance it? And you take the words and you flip it. And although you might not believe it, you just need to, because of the way now that we're learning is repetition, because we're past that state of absorption. What's the word? Absorption. Thank you so much. Dyslexic brain was going out of circuit then. But you know, that's the opportunity to grow, really.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast to catch up on new episodes every week. Also, check us out on our Facebook and Instagram at RecRooms, where you can find out about our other exciting music series. We also have this and all our other episodes of the podcast up on our RecRooms YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. See you next time.